Kia ora. So I'm here to give you more specific detail on the assessments. So in the previous video we looked at the big picture, and now I'm going to go into more detail. So in the big picture we're talking about two main assessments that you're handing in here. We're looking at the reflective journal and then also your kaihokai, which is your creative project. So examples of previous creative projects of taking something you've created and forming something new. We had a fashion design student who looked at a garment, an outfit that she had made, and then she reimagined it in terms of different material and different dyes. We had a photographer who took a photograph and then reimagined it, recreated it. We had someone who had done printing on t-shirts and then they redesigned, recreated that. We had somebody who had done landscaping in their garden and then they reimagined it and recreated it by adding in a taro plot up in Kauai. So yeah, this is starting to get some ideas flowing for what your creative or your kaihokai project could start to look like, making it really unique for you. So with the kaihokai or the creative project, like we said in the previous video, you're going to start to be thinking about this. We're going to explain more about this in the first week, and you're going to start to think about how you can reimagine it and then recreate that. When it comes to assessment, there is two things that you will have to do. You will have to do a write-up of your kaihokai, so 1 page, just explaining what it is and some of the key ideas and key elements in it. That will need to be handed in via Moodle, okay, and you'll see where to hand it in under the Assessments tab. The second part is that you're going to be doing a presentation. So we are going to ask you to pre-record this and then upload it to YouTube. You can do a video just like I'm doing right here and explain. You could use some software called Loom, for example. That's a free website, and you can present and show your screen at the same time as we can also see you. I think it does have a 5-minute time limit, so you may have to do 2 because the kaihokai presentation is up to 10 minutes. Okay, please no more than 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes to meet the criteria and explain about your kaihokai project. Other ways of presenting is that you could actually make a video with in a PowerPoint and do voiceovers even, for example. So you can get really creative about how you want to present your kaihokai. Students in the past have shown us photographs or taken videos of literally what they are doing at different times. So you could even start to think about taking some footage in week 1 about what it is that you are currently doing, or what it is that for the garden, for example, you could start to take videos of what your garden looks like now, and then getting supplies, and then you doing the garden, and then what the garden looks like at the end. Okay, so that would just be one example. And then you're going to hand that in the last week, and then for assessment, we are also going to get the opportunity to share. So in your pods, which if you don't know about that, you'll learn more about that, but you're going to be put into smaller pods of 4 or 5 people. And then you're going to watch the other people's presentation in your pod. Okay, this is all part of your timetable. So really, if you follow the timetable, then you'll be sweet. All you have to do is show up. And then once you show up to that, we're going to explain more about it. But you'll show up on the very last day. And then you'll be invited to watch all the videos of your pod. You'll offer feedback to each member of your pod. And that will conclude your assessment. Okay, so there is some different elements here. There is your 1-page write-up of your kaihokai. There's your actual video presentation. And then you'll also be invited to watch other people's and give them feedback. Okay, and then you get to receive feedback yourself. Acknowledgement and celebration, right? It's not just critical feedback. So all the video and the written write-up, you'll need to hand in via Moodle under the Assessment tab. Okay, and so you'll see a place where it says, 1-page write-up of your kaihokai creative project, and you'll need to hand that in a Word document. For your video, we need to have your URL. So I'm going to set up a Google Doc and place that under the Assessments tab. You'll need to go into the Google Doc that will be shared by everybody. You will add your URL in before the due date, and then that allows us to be able to see your video so that we can mark it, but also that allows your pod members to get access to your URL so that you can watch other people's video and creative projects as well. In terms of the reflective journals, you will be asked at the end of each module that you do. So you'll be working through video content every week, and at the end of each of those videos there'll be a question for you to answer. Now you can answer this in any way that you want. It can be written, it can be in a video format, it can be in audio format, but there are time limits and word limits to this. Now when it comes to assessment, you're only going to hand in a portion of your reflective journal. So as you work through this course, you'll be answering every question. Okay, this is going to be really important for your learning and to help you solidify the content and integrate the theory that we are talking about. But when it comes to assessment, you're going to choose your top 6 entries. Okay, your top 6 entries in your reflective journal. And there'll be multiple opportunities on how you can receive feedback on your reflective entries before you submit. Okay, and there's 2 ways, and I'm going to explain both. So you will be able to submit 1 reflective journal entry, okay, whether that's a video or an audio or something written, per week. Okay, so your first week, second week, third week, you'll be able to submit a portion of that. That'll come through to us, the tutors, and then we will give you feedback. You can change that specific entry and take on the feedback we've suggested, and then you can hand it back in at the very end for your final assessment, for opportunities to get the best marks. You also want to take the feedback that we're offering you in general so you can apply it to all of your entries, right? Because the feedback will probably apply to everything that you do. So that's the first way. So every week you have the opportunity to hand in a reflective piece and get feedback on it from us. The second way is that in the timetable we have time slots for Q&A. So Q&A is really your chance to get support in this course and answer all your questions and get feedback. So you may have questions about the specific course or the timetabling or an assessment, and you can also bring 1 entry to that Q&A and get feedback from tutors in real time. So every week you have the opportunity to receive feedback on 2 entries. We have 3 weeks, so by the end of it that would be 6 pieces of feedback. And then at the very end for your final assessment, you're going to hand in your 6 pieces of reflective writing or audio or video. Cool. So any other commonly asked questions? I'm just going to look through this. For any of the assessment due dates, you can look under the assessments tab in Moodle, and you will see written under each heading the due date. Okay. During the weeks when you're getting formative feedback, so that's when you're handing in your reflective journal, we're not assessing that for weeks 1, 2, and 3. We're not assessing that. We're only assessing your final assessment, your final reflective journal. So everything prior to that is just formative. It's just all practice stuff. Okay. So if you haven't fully completed a reflective entry but you want to hand it in anyway, then just hand it in. If you hand it in late, no, we won't mark it because it'll be past the due time where you could have received the feedback, but you can hand it in for the following week if you want to. How deep do I go? I would say go as deep as you possibly can in the time frame and the word limit that you have. So if you're doing a video and audio, I highly recommend that you need to put some time aside and write some notes down and bullet point everything so that you can really show up to the video and just go straight to the point of exactly what we want to hear and what we want to know. And remember that we are assessing based on critical thinking and critical reflection. So they're the real key things that we're looking for. And we have a video talking about critical reflection and critical thinking in the content that you will want to look at before you start to go into this. So go as deep as you can. Nothing's too deep for me, so go all out, and we will see where we end up. How long should it be? Please make sure you keep within the word limit or the time frame. We will cut it off after that, and you won't be assessed or marked for anything over that time. So it can even be more challenging trying to write something so deep in such a small amount of space or time. And that is actually the challenge. It actually invites you to sit down and really reflect and get very succinct and clear in your thought process before you present it. Cool. I think that is all the questions that we have received so far. If you have any more questions, bring it to the Q&A sessions, because that's where we're going to be answering everything. And also look at the assessment rubrics. You can check that out now and just understand what it is that we are definitely assessing. And then as you are writing or reflecting or thinking about your kaiho kai, your creative project, you can keep in the back of your mind what it is that we are actually looking for. Cool. Have an amazing time. Remember, assessment is just a way of checking in on your learning. It doesn't encapture all of your learning. I'm really well aware of that. But it is a process that we need to go through in order to tick some boxes. And I really hope that the feedback and your learning process in this is really helpful and helps you grow as a person.